You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Do us a favor and like and subscribe and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast on whatever audio podcatcher you're listening to and give it a 5-star review. Would appreciate it. It costs nothing but helps keep all of this free. If you want more, join the Insiders program with the subtext link down below. No trolls. 14-day free trial and the easiest way ever to cancel. Give it a try. And don't forget to check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is ready for you. Now, it's really interesting to think about where Ole Miss stands as a football program right now. And Ole Miss 2 years ago went all in on Deuce Knight, didn't get Deuce Knight. Deuce Knight ended up at Auburn, and Ole Miss is just waiting to see what happens on the plains to whether or not that recruitment is over. Now that the transfer portal is going from 9 windows essentially to 4 windows, it does make the transfer portal probably a little bit more valuable than high school recruiting. It's like one chance each and every game to do exactly whatever you need. So whatever. But Deuce Knight maybe comes available eventually. But Ole Miss is still doing some work in high school recruiting as well. And they got a big commitment on Sunday with potentially the top player in their entire recruiting class of 2027 with the commitment of Keegan Croucher, quarterback from the class of 2027. He is from Cheshire Academy in, I think it's either New York or Connecticut. He's up there somewhere. And Ole Miss beat out Oregon and Penn State for his services. They were talking about Keegan was going to head down to the Penn State-Indiana game to catch that. He might still go. But it's probably no coincidence that the top 2 teams that were on there that had a chance to close this out was Ole Miss and Penn State. Now, Oregon's on the periphery, and they're always going to be there because of Phil Knight and all of that stuff, okay? So it's not discounting Oregon. They're just not a big player at the moment, if that makes sense. But Ole Miss and Penn State coming through. He came down to Oxford for the Ole Miss LSU game. He got to see the crowd. He got to see Ole Miss dominate that game. Got to see Ole Miss take a D2 quarterback and completely take apart the best defense that they're going to see. He left that unbelievably impressed about what can happen. So then he cut on the TV to check out the Penn State Nittany Lions. They were playing against the 0-4 UCLA Bruins, and they got taken apart by the UCLA Bruins. Drew Aller, who is an all-world, all-combine quarterback for the Penn State Nittany Lions, struggled mightily all day long. A decent player, good player, but you just wonder about the development of somebody that has so many tools of what can happen. Keegan Croucher saw that. He sat back and looked at the Ole Miss game and said, hey, I want to go to Ole Miss. And I don't blame him there. And he is one of the better quarterbacks in the 2027 class. He's a 4-star in every single service, ranked 113 on Rivals, 151 on ESPN, not in the top 247 on 247 Sports, but good enough for a 4-star composite rating of 152, number 11th quarterback in the country, number 2 player in all of Connecticut. The one thing you notice about this player, he throws a really pretty ball. And he is athletic enough to do some of the dual threat stuff that the Ole Miss offense kind of requires. And you see that in this highlight that we have for Keegan Croucher. This is not really a highlight. It's just the highlights of the last game from a couple of days ago as well. But you'll be able to see him throw passes to where everything's coming out on time. He sees the field at a very advanced level and has the tools to be really good throwing the ball to the end zone. All of the stuff that you want in a quarterback, he can do. He is somebody that in 1985 would be a highly rated quarterback, just as much so as he is right now because of the arm talent. He can throw the ball all over the field. But like I said, he does have the mobility and the athleticism that they can do a little bit of the dual threat stuff as well. I would say put him in the same category of Austin Simmons and that type of running ability, and you would be pretty close to the ballpark of Keegan Croucher. Listen, this is important. This is a big deal for Ole Miss. Not necessarily everybody's going to say, well, what if he decommits? Okay, he does. We'll just pretend he doesn't exist and move on to the next one. But as it sits right now, while he is committed, that is every second that he is committed, he is recruiting for that university during that time. And Keegan Croucher is going to be able to land wide receivers. He's going to be able to make the guys that were at the LSU game. There was a 5-star out of Louisiana wide receiver. Maybe there's a relationship, a connection that was built by that. The whole recruiting class, if you want a big time recruiting class, you want a quarterback first, because everybody that comes to your school wants to know that a quarterback is there, that they're going to be taken care of. Now, Ole Miss fans realize that as long as Lane Kiffin is there, you're never going to have to worry about quarterback. That's just the way that works. But the way it sits, having your quarterback means you can dig in on some of these offensive stars early, and you have a greater time to land them potentially. Listen, you have the signing day where everybody's going to talk about it. Ole Miss is in the middle of an unprecedented run that's going to help with that class. Potentially, you could have a playoff game pop up over the course of December or January. And then it comes to like junior days and combine season and all of that. And this is all going to have Keegan Croucher recruiting for your school, trying to find players that he connected with and get him to where he is going. That is not necessarily even the dirty little secret, but is something that every quarterback tries to do. Keegan Croucher is a big get for Ole Miss, and he's likely the number one player on the board. Not the number one quarterback on the board, the number one player on the board. And if you watch him throw, you can see exactly why. Coming up in our final segment, we're breaking down the Week 7 lines in the Southeastern Conference with FanDuel Sportsbook providing those lines. We give our picks for some of the leans and locks as well. Stay tuned. We're diving in next. Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of the university. Seriously, if you don't believe me, Google Ole Miss podcast and see how much we come up. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show, and it's absolutely free. Your support means the world to us. And also, in another big moment for Locked On, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley and Locked On's local expert. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch the College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy, everybody. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.